How would you describe the Irish life in Liverpool?
Very healthy. It's a little bit different from the rest of the UK in that it's heavily dominated by the Northern Irish, which I love personally, but it's just so you have more of a community aspect maybe with that, and even more of an identity to some degree, because it's not, like they're coming from all over the country. Although I have noticed more people do seem to be coming from down south in general. Liverpool has a good rep at home, and I think that is spreading to students beyond the UK, if you like. And it's a great place to be Irish. There's no conflict. The people are the same basically, or at least a regional variation of, and that's how it feels. So you're right. Was the only joy you, and it's hard but never lonely. Let it be very, ain't
Why did you decide to come to Liverpool instead?
Well, I was around all my life, so I've been coming here since '86. I was quite young, and eventually I was in the Midlands for a bit. I was in Australia, came back to England. I was in the Midlands for a little bit. Opportunity came to come and work, a normal day job at the time, and I wanted to come up and came up, and the rest is history.
Do you think the Irish culture in Liverpool influences why students come to Liverpool? Because
I would have thought so. I mean, I'm of a generation where you kind of expected to emigrate, and there was a big boom a few years ahead of me in the kind of early 80s, if you like, mid 80s, that before I was ready, I was a teenager or whatever, that went. Now, they didn't come to Liverpool in those days. Liverpool missed that 50s and 80s boom that Manchester had and London had, and so on. But there was a history of going either to England or Australia or America, whatever, as there always has been in cycles. I've had a whale rover for many years again. I spent all my money on whiskey and... There definitely was a boom then, and that didn't affect Liverpool because Liverpool was seen fairly to some degree as a bit of an economic basket case. I mean, if that's not too strong a word, the opportunities wouldn't have been the same, and you wouldn't have had the Irish community would have been older or whatever, or as I say, it's more endemic in what it means to be a Scouser, rather than you've got an uncle or an aunt or a cousin or a brother to go to, whereas in the other cities in the UK and indeed America, Australia, generally, when I went to London, I went to people I knew. Yeah. And that's what's happening in Liverpool. Oh yes, you're getting lots of students who are coming as part of the UK enrollment or whatever, but you are definitely getting a lot of people coming because their friends are already here, their cousins are here. I mean, the Derry contingent alone is massive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you do it now for a clap on if you're in the mood.
With St Patrick's Day next week, is there anything you do or used to do to celebrate?
Enjoy it. Start early. Pace yourself. It's a big day in Liverpool. You have the parades early on, which is very unusual for the UK. It's certainly for Great Britain. There's a big parade in Manchester, but it's the Sunday before. I think London, most of them operate the same way. Whereas Liverpool has this little parade, and it's getting a bit bigger, I think, year on year, on the day itself. And the place is just awash with green. Everyone makes an effort. You've got Scousers who are fifth generation Irish or whatever who come out and make the effort for the day, you know, and that's not to mention the tourists who come because they know it's good, they know it's right, and the crack is 90, as they say, and the music everywhere, and a fair bit of it Irish, maybe not as much as yours done by, a fair bit of it is neither doing with it.
Rain and dew, laugh and sleep, and I took a stroll, and I'm on the corridor of the Limp Whistle.